The Chicago Bulls are interested in trading up in this year's draft, but is it going to be worth it for the player that they're eyeballing? Now, if you are new to the channel, please hit that like button. Please subscribe to the page. We do talk Chicago Bulls daily on this channel. It's the only channel talking Bulls, how Bulls fans talk. So make sure that you stay in tune with us, man. So Ace Bailey, a very interesting name in this draft, one that nobody believed would be anywhere near the Chicago Bulls and probably won't be near the Chicago Bulls, is someone who at the top of this draft is a very interesting player, to say the least. Talent out of this world, but it seems like there may be some questions now with some of the work ethic and different things like that coming into the league, and even some of the attitude that has been put on display. But seems like if there were a possibility that Ace Bailey were to fall past the Philadelphia 76ers, who he's been mocked to in a couple of mock drafts here, and in most of the mock drafts with that third overall pick, what we heard from Brett Siegel was that multiple sources have also relayed intel about Chicago exploring the possibility of trading up, possibility of moving up in this year's draft should Bailey be passed on by the 76ers or another team that trades up to that third spot. And I think here's the thing with all of this, right, is the conversation around Ace Bailey. Listen, when you talk about just the talent that he is, absolutely explosive. He's got elite athleticism for his size and speed. He's one of those athletes that can get off of the ground extremely quick. I think him coming from Rutgers, having that 6'9" frame, 6'10" frame, but also the 7'1" wingspan is something that AK would absolutely covet. I mean, he's basically one of those guys who has all the defensive tools you're looking for. He can guard 2 through 4 effectively if you really need him to. He's a very, very efficient shot blocker in his time, and I think he's got some upside even as a shot creator for his game. I think he's got great handles. I think he's got great size. He's a very fluid player, and I think he has some star potential at the NBA level. But the consistency right now is a little bit up and down on that jump shot. That's something that could be worked on here. I know the Bulls end up moving on from their player of their head of player personnel. But listen, I think that that's something that still can be developed here at this next level. We saw Matas Buzelis become a much better three-point shooter by the end of the season than where he was at the beginning of the season. I think the strength could be something there where you kind of look at him almost like a Chet Holmgren kind of player, gets moved around a little bit easier than maybe you would like on that. But I think the big thing right now with Ace Bailey and all the raw tools that he does have is the fact that it seems like teams are a little bit hesitant to take him, which is why he could be falling past that third pick. When talked about, you know, with the workout, Jonathan Giovanni from ESPN was breaking down why teams that have been interested in Ace Bailey in the top 3 have lost some of that interest to this point. And what he said was that Bailey's camp has told interested teams they believe he's a top 3 player in the draft as a part of their rationale for declining invites from several teams for a workout at this point. Ace Bailey is not working out for teams right now. He seems to be doing the Deion Sanders approach to this thing. Hey, I'm not going to fall far enough for you to be able to work out with me anyway, so why would I come through? But it also seems to be the reason that the Philadelphia 76ers have really gotten out of the mix with Ace Bailey to this point. And so I do ask you, is it worth it for the Bulls to go after somebody who it seems like, I don't know if this is an attitude issue or whatever it is, but it seems like he's fairly confident that he should be a top 3 pick. And because of that, he's not really cooperating with how the system is working. He's kind of bucking the system. And it's a tough situation when you break it down one way or the other. Let me know how you guys feel in the comments below. I'll be down there as well, should the Bulls trade up for Ace Bailey. And I think that word right there is what makes this tough. Trade up. I'm giving away assets to go up and get a very, very, very talented player. Make no mistake, I think this young man has all the talent in the world. I'm going up to get a very talented player, but one who may bring some locker room issues if it were to come to, you know, the rockiness there. I mean, you're effectively changing your franchise around a person who is a top 3 pick, or you should anyway. This is not somebody that Billy Donovan can stick on the end of the bench and we can go 2-3 weeks without seeing this young man play. No, he's somebody who's going to be playing on a fairly consistent basis. And so for me, I think, you know, you're reshaping your team around a player like this. He's probably somebody who gets in the starting lineup either at that 3 or that 4 position, and you move Modest in there, vice versa, right? How is that dynamic going to work together? There's a lot more that has to go into it when you're trading up from the number 8, or I'm sorry, from the number 12 overall pick to potentially the number 3 overall pick. Now, the interesting thing about Ace Bailey is how far does this end up having him fall? That's something to keep an eye on. That's something to truly keep an eye on. If you don't see him go in those with that top 3 in the draft, right? Could you see him start to fall where teams are kind of like, I don't know if I want to take a chance on this. There's a lot of teams that aren't going to put up with the new, I guess we can call it an attitude era, or the NIL era, where guys are coming in and they're not as worried about, you know, playing the game perfectly because I got money already. I've got my family set already. I've got my family in a good position. I'm not saying that's where Ace Bailey is, but it seems like these are the big reasons why teams up at the 3, up at the 4 spot aren't really as interested in a player like Ace Bailey as they probably should be. Again, I think he's a talent that you can add into this team and find a way to make it work. I think Billy Donovan could be somebody who does make it work. But are you willing to move on not only from draft capital, because I think it would cost you more than draft capital, but possibly also players who maybe take some shots away, or who take those shots away from Ace Bailey if he were on the team? Are you willing to move on from a Kobe White? Are you willing to move on from an Ayo Dosunmu to go up there and add this player onto the team where, you know, you not to say you've got a great dynamic here, and I do think you need some star power in the building, and I think if you could find a way to add Ace Bailey to this team, I would be all in on it. But where it starts to get a little bit concerning is, right, how is he going to feel coming into a team where there are already pieces in place that are going to demand shots? Modest Buzelis, I believe, going into next season is going to demand shots. I think when you look at a guy like Josh Giddey, he's going to demand shots. He's got that already on his plate. You've got to come in and you've got to play nice with the things that are already in place. And how many times have we seen that be the detriment of so many talented players? They just didn't have the ability to fit in and play well with the other teams with the other teammates that were on the team. Again, I'm not saying that's who Ace Bailey is, but it seems like NBA teams are worried that that's who Ace Bailey is, which is why you're seeing him start to fall a little bit in the draft. I even wonder if the Bulls would have to trade up into the top 3 to go out and get Ace Bailey. I mean, it does get to a point where you have to kind of take a chance, right? If you get to a point where this guy's sitting around the 7th, 8th pick in the draft, and teams are still passing on him, I think then maybe you start to make some phone calls and say, hey, we want to trade up, because then you're not giving up nearly as much. You've still got your pieces in place. The juice is a little bit more worth the squeeze in that situation than if you go out there and you give up a massive haul to go up and get them, and now you're taking big chances on it. Again, I haven't seen anything that, to me, through his playing, even in his dealing with his teammates at Rutgers and things like that, where you would say this guy's a bad teammate. But it seems like the mindset that he's coming in with is really what is detracting teams. And so we'll see what ends up happening in the long run. Again, let me know how you guys feel in the comments below. I'll be down there talking with you guys as well. Do you think that Ace Bailey is somebody the Bulls should trade up for? And if they do, how far do you realistically want to see them try and trade up to go get him? Is he somebody you're going to get at all costs? Let me know in the comments below. I'll be down there talking with you guys as well. As always, man, it's your boy Pat, the designer, back at it again. We'll be back tomorrow, or if any news breaks, we'll be on that as well. So y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. See you, Red Nation. Stand up. Peace.